What happens when a juror is dismissed in the middle of one of the most high-profile trials of the decade? Chaos, but behind closed doors. The removal of juror number 6 in Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial wasn't just a technical adjustment. It was a seismic shift that sent legal teams scrambling and media circuits buzzing. Officially, it was about maintaining the integrity of the trial. Unofficially, it raised questions nobody wanted to answer. One juror's removal can derail years of preparation. In federal court, replacing a juror mid-trial is a last resort. It signals something serious, possibly misconduct, undisclosed bias, or breach of confidentiality. Even one misstep from a juror could jeopardize the entire process. That's why this decision hit like a gavel to the gut. Takeaway: juror dismissals aren't routine. They're red flags with real consequences. They weren't famous, they weren't flashy. But inside the courtroom, juror number 6 carried weight. Observers noted them as calm, engaged, and detail-oriented. To the casual eye, they fit the mold of a model juror. But trials, especially ones involving billionaires and bombshell allegations, aren't decided by appearances. According to leaked reports, a potential concern about this juror's outside exposure or private commentary triggered internal review. In plain terms, someone may have said too much, or heard something they weren't supposed to. Even silent bias whispers louder in high-profile trials. It doesn't take a courtroom outburst to taint a verdict. Sometimes all it takes is one quiet opinion expressed to the wrong person or one social media scroll too far. In cases where reputations and livelihoods hang in the balance, even a shadow of impropriety is too much. Takeaway: jurors must not only be fair, they must be seen as fair. One slip, and the curtain drops. So why didn't the judge backtrack? Because in federal court, perception matters almost as much as procedure. Reports suggest the defense objected to the dismissal, but Judge Edwards wasn't moved. Instead, he delivered a calm yet forceful justification. The removal was necessary to preserve impartiality and the appearance of fairness. Judges don't gamble with precedent, especially under media fire. Legal analysts agree, judicial decisions like these aren't made casually. In fact, they're often preemptive strikes to prevent appeals. If the judge hadn't acted and a guilty verdict followed, Diddy's legal team could have used the juror issue as grounds to overturn it. In the courtroom, a clean process matters just as much as a correct outcome. Takeaway: fair trials aren't just about evidence. They're about eliminating doubt before it spreads. The moment juror number 6 was dismissed, Diddy's attorneys went into high alert. Their concern wasn't just legal, it was strategic. Observers say this particular juror had shown signs of sympathy during cross-examinations, leaning forward, nodding slightly, reacting to defense arguments. That kind of body language doesn't go unnoticed. For Diddy's team, it likely felt like losing a silent ally. A sympathetic juror gone equals a strategy lost. Immediately, they pushed back. Was the dismissal really necessary? Could the trial still be considered unbiased? Their objections were formal, but the subtext was clear. This change could hurt their client. Trials are like chess. When you lose a key piece mid-game, your entire plan shifts. Takeaway: never underestimate how much legal teams invest in reading the jury. One dismissal can upend months of preparation. Losing one juror doesn't just change the head count. It shifts the emotional chemistry of the entire deliberation process. Trial strategy is a living organism. Every juror affects the tone, timing, and weight of testimony. Prosecutors and defense attorneys tailor their arguments with specific personalities in mind. The courtroom is scripted until it's not. With juror number 6 out, Diddy's defense now faces a recalibration. Do they pivot their tone? Reframe their narrative? Emphasize different evidence? Everything from cross-examination to closing remarks may need subtle realignment. One change in jury makeup can cascade through 1,000 strategic decisions. Takeaway: in high-stakes trials, adaptability isn't optional. It's survival. Here's the danger no one talks about enough: the invisible influence of your feed. Jurors are explicitly instructed to avoid news, social media, and outside commentary. But in today's world, that's almost impossible. From Twitter threads to TikTok breakdowns, courtroom speculation is just a swipe away. One meme can undo a month of testimony. And here's where it gets messy. Some reports hinted that juror number 6 may have indirectly consumed trial-related content, whether through shared posts, forwarded messages, or casual digital chatter. Even passive exposure creates subconscious bias. Courts try to control the narrative inside, but outside influence is everywhere. Takeaway: in the digital age, jury isolation is a legal illusion. Enter the wild card, the alternate juror. When juror number 6 was dismissed, an alternate was quietly sworn in, someone who had observed silently, taken notes but hadn't yet played an active role. On paper, it's a seamless substitution. In reality, it's anything but. An alternate juror is a silent observer, until they're not. This person missed the group dynamics, the subtle shifts in jury chemistry, the emotional cues that shaped earlier discussions. They're parachuting into a moral maze already halfway mapped. Can they really deliberate the same way? Experts are skeptical, because trials aren't just logic, they're lived experience. Takeaway: one quiet replacement can change the entire direction of a verdict. And then there's the public, watching, judging, speculating. The moment juror number 6's dismissal hit headlines, theories exploded. Was it political? A cover-up? An inside job? In celebrity trials, truth gets buried under a landslide of online suspicion. Everyone becomes a detective. Everyone has a theory. In high-profile cases, perception outweighs evidence. This isn't just about Diddy's trial anymore. It's about trust in the system. Every sudden change feeds the narrative that justice bends for the rich, the famous, and the powerful. That's why transparency isn't just ideal. It's essential. Silence breeds stories, and stories sway juries. Takeaway: in the court of public opinion, unanswered questions become convictions. Now, imagine you're a juror, already under scrutiny, processing hours of testimony, and suddenly, one of your peers disappears. The unspoken message? You're being watched. Juror number 6's dismissal isn't just about rules. It's a psychological message to everyone else. Don't step out of line. Fear changes how people deliberate. Legal psychologists warn that such shakeups can trigger anxiety within a jury. Jurors may begin second-guessing their thoughts, staying silent out of fear of scrutiny, or aligning with the majority just to avoid standing out. That's not deliberation. It's quiet compliance. Takeaway: when fear enters the jury box, justice quietly walks out. Let's be honest, Diddy's trial isn't like yours or mine would be. From security details to courtroom decorum to media access, everything about this case screams exception. The rules may be the same, but the stakes, pressure, and influence are not. Fame doesn't change the law, but it changes everything around it. The judge has to balance legal principles with national optics. The attorneys play to both the jury and the press. And every witness knows their words could become tomorrow's headline. That's not just pressure, that's performance. Takeaway: in celebrity trials, courtroom justice collides with media theater. Here's the unsettling truth: no vetting process is perfect. Jurors fill out detailed forms, undergo interviews, and swear oaths. But they're still human, and humans carry hidden biases, unspoken fears, and unpredictable behavior. Juror number 6 passed every filter, until they didn't. You can't screen for what people don't admit. In high-profile cases, some jurors crave attention, others crumble under it. And sometimes the very process meant to protect impartiality can overlook the subtle signs, body language, online behavior, or quiet discomfort that scream louder than any questionnaire ever could. Takeaway: a fair trial depends on more than vetting. It depends on vigilance. Let's turn the gavel over to you. Was juror number 6 fairly dismissed, or was this a tactical move in a much bigger game? The facts are murky, the timing was sudden, and the fallout is massive. If you were on trial, would you want someone removed for a potential risk, or kept in to protect consistency? This isn't just a courtroom question, it's a democracy one. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should trials favor caution or continuity? And if you're finding this breakdown insightful, hit that like button. It helps us bring you more deep dives into the hidden layers of high-stakes legal drama. Takeaway: justice isn't just delivered, it's debated. And your voice matters. While most of the trial plays out in transcripts and sketches, the real drama unfolds off-camera. Sources close to the case say, courtroom tension spiked the moment juror number 6 was dismissed. Whispers among reporters, nervous glances from attorneys, a visible shift in the jury's body language. Silence speaks loudest in high-stakes courtrooms. Some jurors leaned back, others avoided eye contact altogether. It was as if everyone in the room collectively realized something big just changed. You won't find that moment on record, but it shaped everything that followed. Behavior is evidence, even when unspoken. Takeaway: in trials like these, the most telling moments are unscripted.
Judge Edwards isn't new to high-profile proceedings, but this one may define his legacy. With cameras outside the courthouse and headlines around the world, every ruling he makes is dissected in real time. And in this case, the dismissal of a single juror isn't just procedural, it's symbolic. One ruling today becomes precedent tomorrow. Legal experts point out that such decisions often shape future trials. Judges watch each other. They take cues, especially in celebrity cases. How Judge Edwards handles the Diddy trial could influence how future judges navigate media, jury management, and crisis control. Takeaway: every courtroom decision casts a long shadow, especially when the world is watching. Even before jurors stepped into the courtroom, Diddy's name was already on trial. Civil lawsuits, public accusations, and a growing stack of media headlines have turned this case into more than just a legal battle, it's a cultural moment. And that complicates everything. When reputation is damaged, facts fight an uphill battle. Jurors don't walk in with a blank slate. They walk in with years of music, headlines, and controversy echoing in their minds. Even if they swear to set it aside, subconscious bias is stubborn. Fairness isn't just about rules, it's about reality. Takeaway: in celebrity trials, the defendant's past becomes a silent witness. Diddy's legal team isn't just fighting charges, they're fighting context. Every motion filed, every word chosen, is part of a larger goal, to shape how jurors interpret not just what happened, but why it happened. That's the heart of defense strategy in celebrity trials: narrative control. Legal facts are filtered through emotional lenses. So when a juror gets dismissed, it threatens that strategy. The balance shifts. A new juror may not have absorbed the same tone, tension, or context. That's not just inconvenient, it's destabilizing. Rebuilding trust mid-trial is like changing the story halfway through the movie. Takeaway: control the narrative, or risk losing the verdict. Let's talk about the nuclear option, mistrial. It's rare, it's disruptive, and it's the last thing either side wants. But when a juror is dismissed mid-case, the risk, however small, becomes real. Defense attorneys may argue the substitution disrupted continuity. Prosecutors may fear a fragile verdict. A mistrial doesn't erase the case. It magnifies it. Public confidence takes a hit. Victims and defendants are re-traumatized. And everything, from testimonies to evidence, must be relived, re-argued, and reinterpreted. One dismissal might not be enough to derail the train, but it certainly rattles the track. Takeaway: in high-profile cases, every juror holds the weight of the whole trial. Now, here's the cliffhanger no one's talking about: what if another juror drops out? Whether from illness, stress, or another violation, the trial can only sustain so many hits. Once too many are dismissed, the jury pool simply can't carry on. There's a breaking point, and it's closer than you think. If replacements run out, the case collapses. All testimony, all cross-examinations, all the meticulous legal dance, it vanishes into legal limbo. And in a trial this massive, that would be a seismic failure not just for the court, but for public trust itself. Takeaway: the strength of justice isn't in the law books, it's in the PO. So, here we are, one juror dismissed, one alternate sworn in, and a tidal wave of implications flooding the courtroom. From narrative shifts to legal risks to public perception, this trial isn't just about guilt or innocence, it's about how justice survives under pressure. And this case? It's not done shaking things up. If you're hooked on the unseen gears behind high-stakes courtroom drama, stick around. In our next video, we'll unpack the celebrity witness list, including the shock appearance that may change everything.